Hello, welcome back to the Business Algorithm. Today, I'm going to teach you guys 5 Claude Code tricks within 5 minutes of your time. And also, so without much more waiting, let's jump right into it. I went through hours of Claude Code tutorials from the biggest AI YouTubers, and each one takes under a minute. So as you guys can see here, I'm in Visual Studio Code in my operating system, and I have Claude Code plugged in, ready to go. So the first trick I'm going to teach you guys is /init. Claude will now read through your whole code base and write itself a memory file. So tomorrow, it already knows your project. So a reason why I like it so much is because of how it's a zero setup. It's an instant payoff. And it's one of those tricks that every pro credits as their foundation to start building everything else on. So the second tool is called X-ray vision. It's dramatic, and it's something that if you want to show your friends how you're using AI, that's the way to go. Control or Command O while you have something working. For example, so I'm going to paste in this prompt that we're going to use for the X-ray tool. And we're going to tell it to make 2 folders and a text file. And we'll see if it works. And there you go. That was just a quick example of what it looks like to have the X-ray tool working inside your Claude Code desktop. Pretty cool stuff. So the third tool I'll give you is to understand when you're full. And you can understand that with the /context button. So as I mentioned in the previous video, Claude gets much sloppier the fuller the memory gets. And the /context shows you exactly what's hogging up space so you can clear it before the quality drops. So we're going to hit it right now and we'll see what happens. So as you can see over here, it's giving me the context of everything that I have within this operating system. So we're using .NET 5 and it's showing me the maximum limit of tokens that I've used. So I've used 64.9 thousand over 967,000. So 70%, which is really, really good. And we can see the estimated usage by category, but it looks like the MCP tools, which are deferred, are 24.8 thousand, which looks like a lot. But even then, it's 2.6% of the total 7% that it's working, which is pretty crazy in my opinion. And that's really awesome because that means I have 868,000 tokens at my disposal, which is good news for me. And over here, we can see all the APIs, MCP thingies that I've been working on, kind of putting all these things that I've been doing for the operating system, putting it together, and it's showing me the full context and the cost that it's taken and the total amount of tokens. So if you know GitHub, this tool is for you. So if you found a GitHub repository that you want Claude to understand extremely fast, instead of putting the github.com, switch it out for deepwiki.com. So let's try to test the DeepWiki one. So we're going to grab one of the links that we used from the last video, paste it to here, and instead of doing github.com, pasting it to ChatGPT or Claude Code, we're going to do deepwiki.com / whatever our repository is. So we're going to hit index. It's going to do a little processing. Please hold. So we index the repository and it looks really, really good. I can see we have graphics over here, small tables over here. I really like how it's made like graphics and images because now it allows me to copy the link and paste it to Claude Code. And when we're going to tell it to search up the repository and tell it to summarize whatever we're going to do, or if we're making a project that we just gotta blast a bunch of links in, at least Claude Code is able to understand in a much better level and in a much more organized fashion of what the repository includes, as well as putting the link itself. And it's more for us as well too, to understand what these kind of repositories mean in more plain English rather than just having it in blatant code. So the fourth tool I'm going to give you guys is called the 4-token hack. So in theory, what it's supposed to do is once we give it a prompt, if we tell it to respond like a caveman with no filler with the same answer, it's actually going to use 1/4 of the tokens than if we were to use it in just regular English. So for example, if I say copy this link over here, if I tell it to give me a summary of what that link means, if we use the Caveman tool, it's going to give us a much cheaper version in terms of tokens than if it would be in regular. So let's see if it actually works. So we're going to tell it to summarize this repository, respond in Caveman mode. No articles, no hedging. So it took like less than maybe 10 seconds and it gave us all this. Great. We got it already indexed. So I can't imagine it would take much longer than that. So now let's see if it will do the same thing, but with more tokens in regular. So summarize this repository and let's just hit enter and let's see how long it took. And perfect. Now we're going to tell it to find out which prompt used more tokens, the caveman one or the regular one. So we just got back from the test and this is what it gave me. So the caveman one took around 295 tokens. It went around 1,222 characters and 211 words. And the normal one was 345 tokens, 1,659 and 246 words. So as you can see, it's not 1/4 of the price. It's about 50 more. So the 17% higher. To be honest, it's not that bad. And I'm sure if you kept working with it, you kept asking it, I want it to be 1/4. And if you link the caveman with the 1/4, I am definitely sure that Claude will be able to understand it, to read it, and to recognize that when you write Caveman, that you want it to understand the fact that you want it to be a quarter of the price, and you want it to understand that your tokens are valuable. And that's it for this video. But to close, I'm going to give you something even more. I'm going to start a free community that you guys can hop into called the Business Algorithm Society, where you guys can go talk about your questions, where I'm going to post some really cool insights. And on top of that, if you comment tokens down in the comments, I will email you guys a list of 25 more that I got from the same research pass. So there's lots of exciting things happening. I'm really excited to share with you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.